excited for today's Tuesday talk. We're live on location with Buddy Fleming. Oh, I'm so excited to talk to you, but let me just tell everybody who's watching who you are. Buddy Fleming is a luxury real estate specialist and the director of Keller Williams Luxury Bermuda. With over 10 years experience, Buddy has a true understanding of the high-end buyer and their needs. In his former life, before real estate, Buddy spent 16 years in luxury hospitality, working for such brands as Rosewood and Relais Chateau. He believes in order to sell luxury, you must understand all things luxury. So Buddy spends much of his time striving to be the luxury expert, both locally and internationally. He is a passionate people person and has an established networks of buyers and sellers, both locally and internationally. His relationships are built on a foundation of trust, communication, and developing into long-lasting partnerships. So welcome, Buddy. I'm so excited to have you on.
Oh, Christine, thank you so much. I'm humbled by the invitation, really. Thank you.
Oh my God, it's my pleasure. So first of all, how's the weather?
Oh, well, I tell you what, so this week has been absolutely fantastic. The weather is absolutely feeling like summer is just around the corner, which is wonderful. Today is probably a little bit overcast, but as they say in Bermuda, wait 5 minutes, your weather will change. So I'm sure in a couple of minutes it will pass through our area and back to sunny, beautiful blue skies.
Oh, how fabulous. And how long have you lived there?
Oh, goodness. So I know I don't sound it, although I'm not too sure what a Bermudian should sound like, but I am Bermudian. So I was born in Bermuda, but I spent the first 10 years of my life in New Zealand, although I do not sound like a Kiwi anymore either. So this is my 46th year. So I have been back home in Bermuda for, I guess, oh my gosh, 36 years or so, 36 years or so.
Right. Oh, well, it's just such a pleasure. So how is the real estate market there? Tell us about that.
Yeah, thank you so much. You know what, it really is, by the way, it's just as exciting as it has been over the last couple of years. And, in attending the family reunion down in Anaheim this year, I understand that the theme was, sort of how to behave in sort of a shifting market. And I understand that we're seeing that, in the U.S. is this small shift in certain areas. I gotta say, we have not and have yet to feel that here in Bermuda. The energy is still really, really strong. It is still very much a seller's market, for sure. We have a ton of buyers at the moment that we are just desperately seeking, the right accommodation for them, but it could not be more exciting. So, and we have been experiencing this really, I think, along with the rest of the world. It's been a very global sort of behavior. I remember when shelter in place hit me here in Bermuda, I kind of thought, well, I hope I'm good at something else, because there goes real estate.
Exactly.
How wrong I was, and thankfully how wrong I was. I mean, I think that I did what many other agents were doing, and just double down and really, get as much into the day as you possibly could while you were doing, nothing much else. And we actually sold in the middle of shelter in place. So, it's been an exciting 3 years. It really has.
How great. So where do most of the people who live on Bermuda, where are they coming from?
Sure. Well, if you're not Bermudian and you're buying property from outside of Bermuda, I tend to think that our market comes really from the Northeast United States.
Yeah, I would guess.
Boston. Yep, sure, absolutely. And even Canada. We have a very big influx or a very large Canadian community here as well. And listen, I mean, the rest of the world is not immune to that as well. We have quite a few folks from the UK, from Germany, from different parts of that side of the world as well. But, mainly I got to say, it's the Northeast United States is where sort of our buyers tend to gravitate from.
Yeah, interesting. Very interesting. So from New York, what is it, a 2-hour flight? And are there daily flights? Is it easy to get there?
They really are. And absolutely. And thanks for asking that question, because, I think that there's definitely been a lot of change, through COVID. COVID has affected the world, obviously, and we're not immune to it. And so flights have been a little bit more challenged, but I'm so excited to say that we're gearing right back into that old behavior of daily flights from the main cities. We do have a daily from New York City. We do have twice weekly from Boston, Philadelphia, Charlotte. We had a daily as well from Miami, and all of that travel that maybe there weren't so many flights or things were cut down a little bit over the last couple of years. We're gearing right back into that really busy time. So flights are actually loading into the program, which is wonderful. So we're getting much more daily access than we'd had in the last couple of years.
That's fabulous. So are you pretty seasonal? Like, is summer your big season? Because is it just a little too cold to vacation there in the winter months? Or give us kind of the background on that.
Yeah, I think it all depends on what you're climatized to, for sure. I mean, the summer here is absolutely just unbelievable. And although we're not part of the Caribbean, we do experience those Caribbean highs. So really from May through to October, I mean, it is prime travel. Everybody's trying to get down here. But, again, it's really what you're climatized to. Listen, I have friends from Canada who come down in January and go swimming. So, it's really all of what you're used to. And we promote Bermuda as a golf and spa location in the winter months when, there's not that wonderful beach and boating activity. Going on. We definitely still promote it as, please come on down. Listen, it's not snowing, if anything else.
Right, exactly. That's the good news.
Yes.
And there must be a plethora of golf courses down there. It must be a golf person's heaven, right?
Oh, for sure. And in fact, I was lucky enough to attend and sponsor as well the Bermuda Championship last year in October, which was wonderful. Our Keller Williams Market Center here became a corporate sponsor. And so I have to say that golf is probably not the way that Buddy Fleming spends an afternoon, but, I understand its attraction, and we do have some of the world's most fantastic golf courses. And so, that's a good example to say how internationally recognized our golf courses are, is that they thought it the perfect location to hold something, like, the PGA Championship is quite the event in the golfing world. So we're very, very honored to be their preferred location. And I understand as well that we are to expect their return as well this year. So thank goodness for that.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
How great. Do you think you guys are going to sponsor it again?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. It was a fantastic event. And more than anything, I tell you, the food was fantastic. It was wonderful. But you know what? They had valet parking. I mean, this just makes me feel like quite a celebrity. So it's the little things. It was fantastic. Yeah.
Absolutely. It certainly is. It's surprise and delights, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And I take it it's a huge sailing community as well.
I'm sorry?
Sailing, lots of sailing going on.
Oh, absolutely.
Yachting. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And in fact, one of my more favorite things to see as well is not just some of the wonderful sailing and the tall ships come to Bermuda, but as well, at any given time in the season, from now until the end of October, you'll see quite a few wonderful luxury crafts as well in the water. And they just kind of take your breath away. And of course, sort of those of us that sit on the side kind of like, oh, one day, we'll be able to do that.
Yes, exactly. So what is your favorite thing to do on Bermuda?
Oh, I think, much like the rest of the island, I got to say, we're about to, and listen, we're gearing up for this wonderful warm weather, and for the water to be, listen, as Bermudian, you did not find us in the water before the 24th of May. But so it's really one of our favorite things to do. And I have to say, we are so blessed and lucky to live right across the street from an adorable little beach, actually, out here in St. George's. So it is just our favorite thing to do. you finish out your day, we both come home, and 7 o'clock, we're in the water, absolutely, for about an hour or
Oh,
so. And
great.
it's just an incredible way to get the day off of you, to relieve any stresses that you may have had that day. And what better place to do it in the water? And it's great. It's our little time as well. We kind of catch up with each other. And so, hey, how's your day going? So it is
Absolutely,
probably
that's great.
just our favorite thing to do. Yeah.
And is the water similar to the Bahamas? Like, is it that kind of clear water or not as much?
Absolutely. You'll be able to see your feet. So yes,
Okay.
yeah, you really do. And you can kind of tell the sort of deep to the shallow areas because obviously the color of the water just gets a little bit more I guess clearer and see-through, the shallower it is. And then you can see that beautiful white sand at the bottom. And then, typically the more deeper blues are a little bit deeper, but so those shallow areas, the reason why I say that is because, listen, even if you're just noticing them as you're driving past, they're probably nice enough for you to be able to go in and have a quick little swim and be able to touch the bottom. So go for it. But yeah, it really is just absolutely magical waters. Crystal clear blue and our pink sand.
Yeah, which sounds amazing. My sister actually just got back. She loved it. How big is the island? How many square miles or so is it?
Sure, yeah, we're 26 square miles in total. And our population is about 67,000 people. Yeah.
And so tell us, like, what will $1 million buy for somebody?
Sure. And and I understand, I'm part of several, mastermind groups as well. And I think that, real estate pricing is very relative, to whichever area and country that you're in. Absolutely. So, in Bermuda, the cost of living is quite high. We do not have poverty here in Bermuda. So, it's a very incredibly pristine and affluent place. And, so because of that, absolutely, our real estate is typically a little bit higher. So really $1 million, we would say, is probably a start off property for you here. But that's not to say that you cannot purchase in the $600, $700, $800 range, for condominiums. There are also products that are zoned tourism, which mean basically that they're inside the boundaries of a tourism property. They have different rules and regulations, but you can also, this is where fractional properties typically live in Bermuda. So fractional is fantastic. It's a wonderful way to own property in Bermuda without a $5 million price tag. And fractions, they start at the $200,000 range, 200,000, 300,000 for a 3-bedroom, around 400,000 for a 4. And they come with an HOA fee that is paid quarterly. But the rule of thumb is if it's available, come down and use it. So you get a lot of flexibility with that. And I know people sort of often hear fractional, they think quite restrictive, but it really is. I mean, if you can spread out your time all over the calendar and not just look at maybe 1 month of the year, you'll be very, very happy with purchasing at that product as well. So although $1 million is kind of where we say would get you a nice little start off, residential property on your own, maybe a little bit of yard around it. It doesn't mean that you cannot purchase for less than that as well.
Right. I'm so glad you brought up the fractional properties. Those have really, gone to new heights in the last couple years, and it's a great option.
Yeah, it really is. And, I appreciate it, Christine, because, what I frequently hear as well, and it's quite disappointing because, you don't want to, anyone to think that they cannot own property here. And what I love about, fractions is that it's made it a little bit more, accessible. For those that do not have, millions and millions of dollars. But, I get the question quite often, oh, buddy, I'm I'm not from here, which means I can't buy property. And oh my gosh, how untrue that is. Talk
to us about that.
Yeah, really. I mean, anyone in the world can buy property here in Bermuda. And that's not to say that there aren't a couple more steps for someone to go through. Listen, as a non-Bermudian purchasing property here, what you'll need is a license to acquire the land. Now,
Okay,
it's a little bit of a process. We call it maybe sort of a government vetting process, that you'll go
right.
through. It can take, can take a couple of months. And it does also come with a bit of a price tag, now for a fraction or for a property within that is zoned tourism, it is about 6.5% of the purchase price. It can get to
Okay,
as high as 12%. So I
right,
understand that a little bit more cost is involved, but the key to remember really with all of this is that it is absolutely possible for anyone that wants to and has the means to buy property here in Bermuda. Please know that it is absolutely possible. And, as well, I think that, that 6.5% for a license fee within tourism zone properties, that used to be as high as 14. So I say that to
wow,
say that, the government sees the benefit in this as well. And they have worked with us over the years to, sort of minimize cost where they possibly can, make it a little bit more accessible. And, listen, I started my career managing fractionals and then started my real estate career with selling fractionals. So I
right,
have to say they're a part of my wheelhouse. I absolutely love doing them because, they're quite the legacy purchase. It's something that you will buy, for your family to enjoy, that will, be inherited by your children. It's a wonderful product. And really they are typically, located in fantastic resorts. So,
right.
like for instance, the Gulf Villas that I have listings for, and the Harbor Court is in the Tucker's Point property, which is managed by Rosewood, which is a phenomenal
Interesting.
hotel brand. Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, is Picasso or some of their properties there as well?
I'm sorry, say again, Christy.
Does Picasso, do they have some properties in Bermuda as well? That's
I
another
don't,
big one in the
yeah,
United States.
I
Yeah,
don't think so at the moment. We
okay,
have, I tell you what, Rosewood was, sort of the first luxury brand to come into Bermuda and sort of, I guess, open up shop, for use of a
right.
better term, in decades. And I think that certainly my own theory is that, other luxury brands were sort of sitting, waiting to see what was going to happen with Rosewood. And then, so you have seen its success. And so now we have the St. Regis here
Okay,
in Bermuda
wow,
as well. And, Christine, I just feel like we're going to see quite a few more of the, and we are lucky enough as well. Let me also say that we are lucky enough to have the Fairmont brand here in
great.
Bermuda as well. So, these are phenomenal, synonymous brands. And I think that over time, what we're going to see as well is a lot more of those, Ritz-Carlton and Four Seasons brands come on into Bermuda as well. That's certainly my hope anyway.
Well, how exciting. No, that sounds great. So if one were to visit, which is your favorite place to stay while visiting?
Oh, well, and and I thank you so much for the question, because I got to tell you, if you're in the mood for luxury, then I got to say, Rosewood is definitely the creme de la creme. It really is. It's an absolutely beautiful property. And, even when I worked there, we always used to say, others can have the fruit, but we've got the basket. All of that means really that there's just everything that you could possibly want in a stay at your fingertips here. The beautiful hotel, the golf course, 18-hole Robert Trent Jones golf course there. The beach club is just, I mean, I remember taking my sister there for dinner a few months ago, and she said, "My gosh, buddy, even the sand is perfect." So,
Right.
I loved that.
Yes.
Yeah. And then there's also some, on the other side of the island, Cambridge Beaches is just, it's an older property. And when I say older, I just mean it's been around for a long time. But wow, I mean, their positioning is just absolutely incredible. They are at a fantastic little peninsula of the island. And they even have villas that are waterfront with private access and private
Wow.
pools. The Reefs property as well also has fractional shares, but they sit right on the South Coast. And I mean, I got to say their staff, if you're, you can just feel it that every time you're there, their staff are just so happy to serve you. They're just very rewarded, a happy group of people, and it makes the experience all that much more powerful.
Absolutely. Oh my God. Well, I could talk to you for hours and hours and live vicariously. I'll have to plan a trip to come see you soon and see your lovely island. And thank you so much for this. It's really been a pleasure. How can people get in touch with you?
Oh, please. And thank you so much. My email, through the Keller Williams network, of course. I am the director of luxury for Keller Williams here in Bermuda. And my email is buddy.fleming@kwbermuda.com. And of course, my cell is 441-799-6943. And I can always as well, it's all up on my social media, and I can certainly shoot you some direct channels as well to that for you, Christine.
That would be great. I'll put those in the show notes. But anyway, this has been a pleasure. Thank you so much, buddy.
Thank you.
I'll talk to you soon. Thank you. And hopefully I'll see you soon.
I hope so. We'll roll out the red carpet for you.
Too.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. I look forward to it.
Thanks so much.